Hi everyone, and welcome to Jab and Move with your host Stephen. And I wanted to have a very quick video going through what we think is going to happen next with Tyson Fury. So, as you all know, 8 days ago he lost the unanimous decision to Alexander Usyk, and at that point, that was done. That fight was finished. Usyk has beaten him twice now. He has very much been beaten by the better man. And now it's looking at reassessing his options. Does he retire? Does he take another fight? Does he try and push himself to go for, again, like Joshua has been attempting, is the 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Like I said, we'll see what happens there. But just running through some of his options, seeing what's possible, and seeing where he lies now in the landscape of all the heavyweights there is. So, very much at the moment, we've got Alexander Usyk top of the tree. As we've discussed in previous videos, and there'll be some links in there below, he has won that second fight, and that has catapulted him now to greatness of this generation. And whether he will be one of the greats to be remembered moving forward, I think he definitely will. Where he is in that one, again, we've spoken about that before. I think he's in the top 10 of all time now as a heavyweight, and we will see where he goes after this. Does he retire? Does he move on? We will see. I know Daniel Dubois abruptly jumped into the ring, which I thought was a bit ridiculous, to be honest, because the man had just retained his unification titles, and he was on about his family and his mother and things like that, and then Dubois out of nowhere comes out with his brash rematch thing that could have been done much classier with a man like Usyk, who isn't big, isn't brash. He ain't going to stand there in your face and insult you. He's very much calculated, considerate, and will take his time. And like I said, he was taking his thanks for obviously a very great eulogy towards his mother and stuff, and everything else that came in his family and his wife and stuff before that happened. But sidetracking from there, like I said, he's won. He's one of the greatest now. Where he fits in that bill, we will have a look, and we've spoken about that previously. But with Fury, that is the big question: what happens next? Again, there was things in that second fight I really liked. I liked he put more pressure onto Usyk. I liked he tried to use his size a bit more, because that's something I thought he should have done way in the first fight, and he didn't. He tried to outbox, tried to outmaneuver Usyk, which I thought was a horrendous idea, and it's so proved within the two fights. Like I said, he was comprehensively beating both fights, for my opinion. Whatever that is worth. So, having a look at it, where does he go next? I don't think he retires. At the moment, he is still the second best fighter in the division. I know Dubois is the other title holder at the moment, but he has had a couple of losses on his record, and he has only just got to that level. He's only just elevated himself to that level. Not only has Fury been at that level a couple of times now, but he maintained that level quite a bit, sort of during and a little bit after the Wilder fights and stuff. Again, some of those fights were debatable. The Dillian White one, 100% was a legit fight. He was the next one in line. He was the mandatory, and he proved himself to be worthy of that shot. Like I said, the Ngannou fight in Chisora, that Chisora was a payday, and Ngannou was just, I don't really know what that was. If I'm honest, it was a bit of a farce in all of them. But again, where does he go next? Like I say, I don't think he should retire. I think he still has it in him, and I still think he's good enough to go and win another world title. He's still one of the best boxers in that division. It's just that Usyk is better. So, for me personally, I think if you want the money fight, there's only one option. And that is anti-Joshua. It's the only option I can see personally that would get him the recognition that he wants and to elevate him again. I don't think Daniel Dubois is a good idea. I think Daniel Dubois now has his sights set on undisputed with Usyk. That's all dependent on what Usyk wants to do. And again, that's if Dubois gets through Parker, because Parker's the interesting one here. He could lose to Parker, and it could be very much, again, him without the belt and Parker and Usyk for undisputed, which would be incredible. But with him, I don't think he should go in with Dubois. I also think Dubois is probably too good in terms of the actual pure power, because the thing that Dubois and Joshua had when they first fought was the power, the punch power, and that ability to take a man out with one punch. I don't think Fury's ever really had that. Don't get me wrong, he did it with Dillian White, but I still think that was underprepared Dillian White for what was his biggest shot ever. And I also think it was just pure timing and class. That uppercut straight into there, that was thing of pure perfection. He's been hit with that by Povetkin before, and Dillian White lost due to that before, so he knew what he was doing, and he tactically did that correct. But he's not the biggest puncher. He is a boxer, and he can outbox the very best of them, barring one or two, as we've seen. So I think anti-Joshua is the one that makes sense. I think that's the one that, genuinely for me, is not only going to make sense commercially, but it'll make sense in terms of fights now. They're both on the decline. They're both not as good as they were. I think obviously the Joshua Fury fight you would have seen pre Fury Wilder 3, when obviously the court and stuff, and he went through and he got that third fight, that trilogy fight with Fury through the courts. I think if you would have seen the fight then, you'd seen a very different one. I still think Fury would have won at that moment in time. You would have seen an absolute barnstorm between two very peak athletes at the top of their sport. With this, you've got two athletes who are currently regressing and are looking quite tired at the moment. Again, Fury, he needs to lose the weight. He needs to go back down 20 pounds. He can't be at 280 something with Joshua. I don't think that's a good idea. Just because you've got excess weight doesn't mean you've got excess power. I think he needs to lean down a little bit again, lose about 20 pounds. Where he was for maybe Wilder 3, a little bit in between Wilder 3 Wilder 2 would be perfect for him. That's kind of seems his weight that he's balanced that. I think going in heavier for him is a bad idea. He will blow out quickly and he'll have to try and get Joshua out there early doors to win, because I don't think if he doesn't, I think then he lands himself in a lot of issues. In terms of Joshua, it's the biggest payday out there for him, and we've heard Eddie Hearn and stuff continually mention that he's going to keep pushing this fight and saying this is the next fight, this is the one off the rail, this is the one that should be happening. So I think him and Frank Warren now are working very much closely together, because obviously under the Saudis and stuff, they're the best of friends again now. I think if they put their heads together, which they will, they'll realise commercially this is the biggest fight out there. It's still a huge draw. For the boxing purists and for myself, it's two aging, regressing fighters fighting each other. I don't think it's going to have to pull for the boxing purists out there that it used to, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago would have had. But it's still Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, and it's still an absolute huge fight to be made. Wembley Stadium, 90 plus thousand people. It would be phenomenal. Like I say, 20-25 quid on pay-per-view. You'll sell 1 million pay-per-views and it'll go from there. It'll be ridiculous. So yeah, for me personally, I don't think Fury should retire. I still think he's got something in the tank. I do think he's a really good fighter. I just think he got beaten by the better man in Alexander Usyk. And I think now for both him and Joshua, this fight makes sense. Get this fight done. See how this goes. If Fury beats Joshua convincingly, then I would believe that he's probably back and he could go for another shot at the world title. Again, conversely with Joshua, I think again, if he can win that, he's potentially got a shot, because I don't think Usyk's going to stay around long, so the bouts will come down and they will scatter. And when they do, you know, you've got Parker at the moment, who has exponentially grown as a boxer and going through that. You've got Dubois, but I don't feel you've got a huge amount of elite heavyweights out there right now that can stop you getting a world title. I think Moses Otomba is the next one coming up and will be massive very soon, but that's still, I think, another 12 to 18 months away. So there's just that little bit of time where one of them could capture that third world title and edge themselves into folklore and British boxing history along with world boxing history, which some already have in certain ways. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think Fury's next thing should be. Should he retire? Should he fight someone else? Should it be Anthony Joshua for his next fight? And let me know what your thoughts are below. But in the meantime, have a wonderful New Year. It's New Year's Eve now, so have a great New Year. And like, comment, subscribe. I look forward to see what your thoughts are, guys. Take care.